Cracking personal interview with weak cats. One of the very old age question I can say, or even ancient question we can say that. Because most of the students who have slightly weaker academics, let us say it is like something like 6 or 7, they always have a small feeling that I have a very weaker academics, but my friends have 9, 10, 8.5, 9.5, etc., etc. So how am I going to compete with them when it comes to the personal interview? So this is always a very common question among any of the student fraternity. So how is that we are going to overcome that? So having weaker academics, is it very difficult to overcome the interview and score high marks? Definitely no, because it has nothing to do with your interviews, because on that particular 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever time the interview is going on, if you are going to be at your best, you are definitely going to crack that up. So always have that in mind. It's all about having your calm and composed yourself in those minutes and giving the best possible answer that you can actually think of, for which you need to start doing a lot of things for that. So let us discuss one by one, and I'm sure you all would have watched the personal interview by Jatin sir and all. Now, having the first most important thing is going to be strong team A or teammates, because somebody will call it as team A. Team A is tell me about yourself. Mace, YS, yourself, that is what they call it as YS as well. So some people call it as team A, but others call it as team A, so don't worry about that. But it is all about what? Introducing yourself. Tell me about yourself. So how good you are going to introduce yourself. Basically, you are a product there. You need to sell yourself so that the B school is accepting yourself. That is how we need to look at it. So how good you are able to sell yourself is going to matter a lot. That is the basic ideology when it comes to the teammates. The B school, why do they look at this as a very important criteria? Because if you are not able to sell yourself, then you will not be able to sell anything. So that is the basic criteria what any of the top B schools will usually give it up. And usually this question will always have slightly a higher weightage as well. There is no doubts about it. So how do we go about it? Talk a lot about your strengths, accomplishments, and all the positives that you have. So when we talk about strengths, you may be an excellent multitasker. You might be a state player, still you manage to do your college and everything without missing something. On top of that, if you are having something like 6 or 6.5 or 7, you can actually tell that in spite of all those commitments, you are able to get this kind of marks. Or you may be able to, or you might be into the sports club, you might be into the other clubs like marketing club or finance club and managing everything, and you are able to acquire a lot of sponsorship for the events kind of things. That will also definitely add value. So communication is yet another strength. So how good you are at communicating. So what are the things that have happened because of your communication? For example, there might be some kind of quarrel that happened during the events, and you stepped in and you were able to resolve the conflict, and then things moved on in a right direction. All those things will actually add some kind of values. Accomplishments is basically if you are able to present some international conference papers, you have published some papers kind of thing, all these things will add value. A lot of my students actually were state level players for in cricket or in volleyball or in throw ball, something like that. But the problem is they were not able to concentrate on their studies much. So that is the reason their ACATS in fact dropped. So there you can tell them that because of this, I was not able to attend a lot of classes. So I scored only 6 or 6.5, and now I want to get out of sports and I'm entering into the world of education. So I will definitely give my best. So whatever accomplishments, if you are a state player or even if you are somebody like a national player representing a zonal kind of thing, that is a huge achievement or accomplishment. You can always definitely talk about that. So talking about that slightly will give them a very good impression. Okay, this guy has been extremely good in whatever he has done in the past. So that was the reason he wasn't able to get this score. So they kind of understand that as well. So don't worry about that part. And all your positives. So whatever positives you have, you are definitely expected to talk about that. So basically being into sports or being into clubs kind of thing, and let us say your college or institution has done some kind of events and you guys were going for sponsorships, and if you alone have got some amount, let us say XYZ amount, you can actually quote that also. So as an individual, I was able to contribute XYZ amount, and the entire team, as a team for the club, we contributed, we were able to collect this much amount. So the event was a huge success, and we had these many footfalls because of the efforts that we all took in. So that directly shows you have that leadership capability. So if you are a good leader, you can always showcase that as well. But you should be ready to answer those questions. So if you tell that you are a leadership material, you need to justify it with some proper facts and facts for that. It might be in college, or it might be outside, or it might be sometime in your home also. But be ready with an answer for anything. Whatever you are going to tell in your teammates, you definitely need to have a answer based on that, or some kind of facts that is basically related to that. So that is really very, very important. So the moment you start it off in a proper zone with all these things, almost I would say 25 to 30% of your thing is getting sorted. Second is driving the interview in your stronger suit. So when I say driving it in your stronger suit, let us say you are a good cricketer, and then you can tell them that I played in the zonal matches, so that was the reason I was not able to do. I scored a match-winning knock-off something, I scored this thing, or I was a good bowler, etc. Trust me, most of the times they will take clue from that. Your questions will be from that particular part. So the moment it comes into that, you should be able to grab that opportunity, and because you know that you drove the interviewers or the panelists into your comfort zones, then you will be able to keep on answering a lot of things. Let us say you've done a lot of co-curricular activities in terms of paper presentation. You are too much immersed into a international conference, and you almost invested 2 to 3 months on that, and you put that in that way. So you worked on 3 to 4 months on that particular presentation, and it got published in international journals and all. Then people will definitely be wanting to know more about that. So how did your contribution go towards that? So this is what we call it as driving the interview. In fact, we have a lot of cases like a couple of students who are extremely good at Rubik's Cube. They in fact told in the interview that we are able to solve the Rubik's Cube in less than 10 seconds. This is the statement they made, and the panelists are, how can I believe you? They literally took out a Rubik's Cube from their bag. They asked the panelists to shuffle it and give it to them, and they did it in 10 or 11 seconds, it seems. So that means the confidence that they have, it is oozing with confidence, or I would say it is they are beaming with confidence, and they were literally offered a seat on the spot. It happened at gym once, and it also happened in XLRI, and also a couple of occasions at IIM, if I am not wrong. So if you are extremely good at something, always try to portray that first, and ensure you are driving the interview in that particular area. So driving it in your stronger suite is the first and foremost step, where even with the weaker academics, you will be able to get a pass. So you will definitely be able to make it big. So trust me on that. Brush up your acats. You might not have had a great academics, but that's all right. But at least now brush up your academics and then go for the interview. The moment it is done, then people will know, okay, this guy or this girl has actually done some kind of hard work for getting into this place. So let us try to give them a chance. So always brush up your academics, at least 3-4 subjects from your undergraduation. That is definitely going to help. And the last thing, accept the weaker academics or reason if it is very valid. So let us say, for example, all the three, your 10th standard, your intermediate or 12th standard, and your undergraduation, all the three are in a very weaker side, then accept the mistake. I was into the sports, or I was into club activities kind of thing, I was into that, so I was not able to concentrate more on my studies. Accept the mistake. It ends there. If you are trying to reason out for all the three, then it looks very ugly, because then people will definitely know that you are trying to cook up some stories over there. So they will not take it lightly. But let us say you did extremely good in your 10th standard, you did good in your 12th standard, but not so good in your undergraduation. Then you can say, I had some kind of homesickness, or I found it a bit overwhelming at the initial stage in my undergraduation career. So it took me some time to accumulate to it. So after that, I was able to manage it. That also they will be able to understand. Again, there is another kind of thing where their 10th standard is good, 12th standard is not good, but undergraduation is good. So this is again another phase where we have that V shape, you have a high, you have another high, in between you have a low. So this again you can actually try to reason it out. If at all you really have a thing that I was, if you're not well, you can put it that shouldn't be a problem at all. Or else you can tell that in plus 1 and plus 2 or 11th and 12th, I found it a bit overwhelming, or I found the subjects to be a bit on the tougher side. So that is the reason I wasn't able to give my 100% over there, kind of thing. So if that is where there is only one, we can try to reason it out and give a strong justification. But if all the three is a problem, then it's always better to accept the mistakes and then try to move on from that, because you are not evading, you are admitting it. That means it takes lot of courage to admit whatever we have done in the past. So that will show you in the good light, guys. So having a weaker academics is not a sin, it's not a crime at all. You can still do well. Just follow these 4 rules. That would be it. I appreciate your time. All the very best, guys.